Well, we're back to it again. So the flying FU finger of fate actually happened to drop 2 or 3 more nice big clods of poop on the situation between that last cut and now. One of them was that the battery kicked off in the camera and died. Luckily I had a new one charged, but it wasn't nearby, and about the time that it all died, I was already up to my ass in alligators and having a hard time remembering I'm there to drain a swamp, not catch an alligator. In other words, I was there to get that housing off for this thing. This is the previous fuel filter. And as you can look, you can see a lot of sludge and nasty crap in there, plus its color would show you that it's pretty well clogged. And so I'm hoping that that is the main problem that the tractor quit on a previous flying FU finger of fate. So I'm going to pop this in here. I'll show you what I did. Now, if you remember, I promised you that there were several flying FU fingers, didn't I? I just showed you one of them. The other was this wrench setup here. This wrench worked perfect for what I had to get around and get that cap off with. I can show you the cap a little better right now, too. If you look straight on, you'll see some hose connections, a little bit over on the left, and then you'll see kind of a pinkish color. That is the fuel filter housing. It has a new fuel filter in it, and I'm going to test it now. Make sure we don't have any leaking going on. Nope, perfectly dry now that I've cleaned it up. But what happened is, if you look just on to the left of the fuel filter, is a little T handle there, or a little L handle. That's a valve. That valve is totally stuck. I mean, you can move it a fraction either way, but it won't turn off the fuel coming from the tank. I have to replace that, and I didn't have one. Trust me, it'll be replaced before I change this filter again. Now, what we look at is what happens then when you pull that filter out is all of the fuel that's in that tank up there wants to drain, and that's about 5 gallons. But knowing the FU finger of fate as well as I do, I had that little funnel there with a hose on it going to a scrupulously clean bucket, and as soon as I could clear the old filter out of there, I could stick the funnel under the upper housing and catch all that fuel oil, which, if you look on the bottom, you'll see dots and dirt and whatever. That's that sludge I was telling you about. It gets in the tank, and then eventually it works its way down and it will clog your fuel filter. Generally, it doesn't start working its way down till you're bouncing around, which, if you happen to be a boat driver with diesel engines, you'll find that with sailors, it's generally when they're in some kind of a stormy, choppy sea with their sails down trying to motor back to port, when their engines die and leave them in dire straits. That's because the sea state bounced the boat all over the place, churned up all the sludge in the bottom of the tank. It made its way to their fuel filter and stopped the flow of fuel, which killed their diesel. Then they get to learn how to sail again. Alright, but anyway, this fuel will get filtered and then go back into the tank, all but the last tiny bit of it. And now I'm going to cut this off here, or no, I'm not. What I need to do is bleed the injector lines. And I'm just going to hold this up here. Hopefully you'll be able to see them. This is one right here. We showed them a little earlier. And then some asshole's calling me on the phone, so hold on.